We use masks everywhere, designing buttons, banner cards, backgrounds, and complex graphics. You might have seen masks in Photoshop or Lightroom already. In Figma, they work a bit differently, and today we're going to learn everything about them. Mask is an essential tool that controls which part of a content layer are visible or altered by effects, like a passepartout that hides parts of a photo without trimming it. Any layer beneath your content layer can become a mask. It can be any shape or size, a stroke, a text, or an image. Anything can act as a mask. The shape and effects applied to the mask determine which parts of the content layer are visible. To create a basic mask in Figma, position a mask layer beneath the content layer. Then use a shortcut or the context menu. You can adjust the mask or content layer independently at any time. Masks apply to all layers above until they hit another mask, a frame or group, a frame or component with clip content enabled. The algorithm that defines which parts of the content layer are shown or hidden depends on the mask type: alpha, luminance, or vector. Alpha is default and the most used one. Alpha refers to transparency channel. Each pixel has a transparency value from 0, fully transparent, to 1, fully opaque. What is visible in the mask will be visible in the content layer. Color doesn't impact the result of an alpha mask, only transparency matters. Therefore, any effect that changes transparency of the mask will affect the content layer. For example, applying a drop shadow to the mask can reveal parts of the content layer. The same goes for layer blur, making it a perfect method for smooth layers blend. Hey, Alex here. Before we move to advanced techniques, this video took a lot of effort to create, and we'd love your honest feedback. Should we keep making more? Let us know by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Remember, anything can act as a mask, even compound objects. Select multiple layers and apply one of the Boolean operations, like union, and use the result as a mask. You can add even more layers to it. However, this approach has limitations. Copying and pasting won't add new layers directly to the compound object. They will be added above it, and you will need to move them manually. Effects like layer blur or drop shadow won't work on internal layers, only on the compound object itself. Boolean operations can still be useful for creating complex shapes, but for masks I recommend using groups. Create a group with multiple objects and use it as a mask. Groups handle copy-paste operation and effects as expected. You can extend a group mask anytime. In web design, patterns like this one are often used as the decorative elements, and sometimes you need to create a specific shape with them. A beginner may start deleting objects in the pattern to create a shape. Use masks instead. The best solution is to use the pen tool with a stroke effect to create precise trails. For some patterns, using shapes may also be a good option. Masks can also be used to highlight or color patterns. When the dots are the content layer and shapes are the mask, any effect applied to the content layer impacts every single dot. You can swap the dots and the shapes, making dots the mask. This lets you fill the content layer with colors or effects, changing the global appearance. Working with large patterns and masks can cause significant performance issues. As another tip, export them as PNGs and use the image as a mask to improve performance. Now it's time to show some real examples. Here are some banner cards from one of our projects. Mask can be a great way to quickly find the right text highlighting option. Create a mask from the text, add multiple ellipses with different fill colors and layer blurs. Experiment until you find the perfect match. Mask can also be used to create smooth border lighting. Start by creating an ellipse with a 1 pixel stroke. It will be the mask. Then use a shape with a layer blur and fill color to add a nice touch of depth to the image. You can use more shapes with the same technique to make it even more interesting. But you may be wondering, why don't we use gradients for text or borders? We do use them, but at a different stage. Mask as the most flexible and quick way to achieve those effects. However, if some of the elements are going to be natively developed on the web, we convert the achieved colors into gradients. On the same card, we can also see how we can use a mask with a layer blur to create smoother edges for the graphic. Moving on to the next one, a bento card with a pattern. We bring in the pattern and make a mask from it. Then, by using multiple ellipses with layer blurs and the blend mode set to overlay, we create a nice background pattern. The next example is the most complex. This dots pattern was created using Grid Generator Figma plugin, which exports the image as a PNG. The first mask is a rectangle with an applied gradient, which helps blend the image more smoothly. Next, we use the dots pattern as a mask. Everything will disappear until we add more colorful shapes to the group. Then we add a few more ellipses with varying opacity, colors, and layer blurs. We can add a few shapes with a stroke to create an even more interesting lighting. We hope this walkthrough has inspired you to experiment with masks in new ways. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to see how you're using these techniques in your own projects. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.